Well, that was touching. Hey everyone, Templar74 here with another episode of Poke Talk, and today's episode of Poke Talk is going to be my thoughts on the latest episode of Pokemon Pocket Monsters 2019, episode 136, I do believe, and it is Pokemon I Am Glad I Got to Meet You. And I gotta be honest with you guys, this episode was a nice episode as we begin to wrap up Pokemon Journeys, or 2019, whatever you want to call it. And other than that, it also showed, I think, people's rush to conclusions about what could be happening with the Pokemon anime. And we'll talk about that a little bit too, because there's really not a whole lot in this episode, but I'm rambling and we'll get to it all soon enough. So at risk of further rambling, let's move on to the actual episode. So the episode's premise is Ash, Go, and Koharu, or Chloe, have all been reunited. They're going for a camping trip together. This is one of the few times that we get all three of them going on one adventure. It actually is shocking how few times that's happened in Pokemon Journeys, to be honest. But nonetheless, they're heading out to basically the Pokemon Summer Camp, the location of it where Go met Mew for the first time, or began to set his sights on Mew. That's what he wants. Ash, of course, missed out on this back then because he slept through. Typical Ash. But yeah, and it's kind of, this is weird because Pokemon has been kind of ambiguous on whether this is the same summer camp that was mentioned in X and Y. Logic dictates that yes, it probably is, but how Ash missed it, it kind of messed up the story. But I mean, summer camps do last longer than a day, so I guess it's just a little bit of over-analysis on my part. But anyway, they look back on their adventures as a group, of which they really don't have a whole lot as a whole group, but Ash and Go definitely have quite a few adventures under their belt. All that being said, though, everybody ponders what they're going to do next, and it's a touching moment between these three. And one of the first times that all three of them kind of have an idea of what track they're going to go on. They're finally together and they're finally discussing it after the fact, which is also pretty nice. Like I said, the episode itself is pretty touching. So overall, as an episode, I give it a 6 out of 10. It was okay. It was a very touching moment and kind of a nice relax from the World Championship. And Project Mew didn't really offer us anything, so I can't say much about that. But anyway, those were my thoughts about the episode. Now let's move on to the elephant in the room, and that is what Pokemon anime is going to do next. And strangely enough, there have been a couple of things confirmed because people were worried that there wasn't a Gen 9 announcement. People were beginning to wonder if there was going to be a Gen 9 anime or if it was just going to sporadically show up on streaming platforms like Pokemon Journeys is doing in the States. It was very up in the air on what they were doing, and it was also, it looked for a while to be a real possibility that Ash would be moving on. We learned that that's not really the case, but Pokemon is still being very ambiguous about what this next series is going to look like. It very well still could be released on streaming and just in chunks, kind of like what the anime is doing here stateside, like I said before, and that could be because of production issues that have been cited in other discussions that I've done. The studio has been having production issues ever since COVID-19, and so that's why we've gotten so many breaks, that's why we've gotten so many recap episodes, etc., etc. That being said, though, that doesn't look like that's going to stop Pokemon from doing another anime. We learned that Ash is going to be included in it, but to what extent and what role he's going to play, we still don't quite know. So it's still really up in the air on what Gen 9 anime is going to do. We're getting little snippets as we get closer to the end here of Journeys, which I think it's pretty much confirmed that it's going to end next week, unless new episode titles come out in the meantime. But that being said, everybody, those are just kind of my thoughts of the episode and just recent overall talk about the Pokemon Gen 9 anime. I do think that they are going to do a Gen 9 anime. Well, that's pretty much not even a discussion anymore. They are going to do a Gen 9 anime, so I guess can't even say that. But what I meant is, I think it might really end up being a sporadic release, just blocks of it at a time. That could be completely wrong. I just think that that would probably make the most sense. But again, I could be completely wrong. I have no idea. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. And as always, I want to hear yours. So in the comments section down below, let me know what your guys' thoughts were about this week's episode and what your thoughts are about the Gen 9 anime overall. Just let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comment section down below, because as always, I enjoy hearing from you. All right, everyone. As always, Templar74 signing off. Have a great day, everybody. I'll talk to you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.